Okay, well, let me explain my new reading style, the quick reads. They're very, very fast to do. And somebody was saying, I don't want to hear anything about Trump anymore. I just want you to explain how to do tarot and how it affects our lives. Well, I'm sorry, but Trump is at the center point of all the crap that's going on that is affecting your life. Maybe it's not affecting your life, but it's affecting a lot of people's lives, and so that's what they want to hear. Now, do you think I like doing political reads all day, every day? No, don't. But that's what we've got going now, and so that's what we do. There are a whole lot more people that want the reads than that don't, so you're outvoted. Anyway, so the new style of reading I'm doing, what you do, shuffle your cards. First card that comes out is what's the center of all that's going on with it. Say this is, say we're doing a reading about your life, okay? So the center point is the first thing that we would say is coming out. Now you got to spend time with your cards and see what they mean to you. Now, it could be a traditional reading, doesn't fit with what you think it means. Go with your interpretation of the cards, because that's what you're doing. You are relating to the cards, speaking to you in a language. Now, in different decks, they have cards that are a bit different, and in different decks, I read the cards differently. Okay? So, in this one, first card out is about the merchant, something trying to be sold, or it could be based on your desires, what you're trying to get, okay? And then I use the card underneath of it. This is the challenge, okay? What's crossing it? So we have the merchant here, what's trying to be sold, what your wishes are, and it's about what's crossing it is for your wealth. The wealth could be the wealth also, not always necessarily monetary, but your, I see this card many times, is the way that you're living, what's of value to you, okay? So what's of value, what makes you feel rich? So the challenge is what makes you feel rich. First thing is about what's trying to be sold, the merchant, your desires, what's crossing it, the things that make you feel empowered, wealthy. So I cut the cards again. And this is an abuse of power, or being able to control, being able to, again, take power. When it comes to your desires, etc., what's the challenge is moving forward. How to get your wealth, how to get what makes you happy, because right now it feels like you are being challenged when it comes to your desires. You want to control it. You want to be able to manifest it, if you will, okay? And the challenge is how to move forward to get the desires that you want, to get what makes you happy, fulfills you. So the energy coming into it is next, the past, the things that are coming into now. You cut the cards, next card out, the wheel is turning. So things are changing from your past. Cut the cards again, the next card out goes with it. Changing, there's an end coming. Okay? So potential things that have happened in the past, it's time a change is coming. Okay? So the energy going forward, again, we cut the cards. Feeling out in the cold. Maybe it's time, I would say in this card, time to turn into your spirituality. Maybe you've been avoiding it, okay? So getting closer to your spirituality, again, cut the cards, because you have had this pain going forward. As long as you stay outside of your spirituality, okay, you're going to continue to have this pain, mental, emotional pain, okay? So the energy coming into it, time for a change. At the center of it, when it comes to your desires and controlling things, being out in the cold with your pain. So the way to get better is to turn within, okay, your spirituality. So again, above it, let's look and see what we have. Justice. Wanting justice from what's being shared. Okay, maybe you feel like you've been taken advantage of, or whatever foundation is, what's being held to, what's up in the air. When it comes to justice, you don't feel like you're getting your fair comeuppance, and what's driving it is what you've had the lid on. So in this, you would say, okay, what's driving the reading is I'm not getting the compassion, I'm not having the things, okay? Maybe again, the things that the lid needs to come off and have some compassion, because what's crossing things, making it difficult, is the want for wealth, the want for the desire to be comfy and moving forward, okay? Because at the center of it, it's about the desires. And maybe, you know, you feel like things have been just too hard, or maybe it's about you want to control the desires. Energy coming into it again, we would have the wheel is turning, an end is coming, energy going forward. When you're outside of your spiritual comfort zone, then you are feeling the pain. So, and above it, you want justice. You want things to be shared equally. There is this holding on to things up in the air. So I would say, if you were doing this reading for yourself or someone else, the problem is keeping the lid on things and really just trying to make this happen, rather than going into your spiritual aspect and opening things up. There are things there that have been closed off that one is not willing to look at, okay? Not willing to look at that compassion, the things, maybe hardline, maybe this feeling of I've been railroaded and I'm, in that, it feels like the whole reading is based on, I'm going to make this happen and it's not happening for me and I want this and I need to control it and this type of thing, pushing and being miserable because one is outside of spirituality and not willing to look at things and coming to a softer viewpoint, trying to do it from ego, okay? So anyway, that's the way that you use this, but again, you have to see how your deck, what it means to you, Now, in this deck in particular, the other ones usually have the guy with the swords and people walking away. In this deck, it's not like that. There are a couple of cards in this deck which are really different. Okay. I'm not finding that card right away. Yeah, this deck I get a different read than I do with other decks. Because in this deck, of course, I'm not finding that card. In this deck, rather than having the swords in hand and people walking away, the guy is actively going after them with a sword. And also in this deck, what's different, in other decks, you have the Six of Swords where there's somebody in the boat and they're being ferried across, with all of these ideations in the boat, going. Now in this one, all these things are there and they're on their own, okay? They're on their own. So I read this differently in this deck than I do in a different deck. So different decks, you have the same cards, the Six of Swords, but in one deck I will read it totally different than I do in another deck. So there is no right and wrong way to read it. Just because you get a deck in it and they're sending you a booklet and it means this, it means that, well, it may not mean that to you. So go with your feeling of the cards. And again, now this, you may have one view of it and then you do another different reading and all of a sudden the card hits you totally differently. So you go with how that feels, the energy of that in the moment in relation to the other cards, okay? How do these fit together to make the story, okay? So that's what I have to say on doing the tarot and reading it. Now, I don't read tarot for myself, okay? Because you don't have usually enough of an objective view to read it for yourself, okay? So I think a lot of people that are reading tarot don't read for themselves for that reason, because you don't have enough of an objective view on it to read. Anyway, on that note, I'll leave that here. Hopefully that's helped somewhat, and we'll see you online. And like I said, I'm doing different styles of reading all the time. I don't look at a book and say, okay, this is a reading setup, this is how you lay them out, and this is what. I come up with new ways to read all the time. It's always changing. I happen to like this new one. It's very concise, very quick, and easy, quick to lay out and quick to get a reading. Now, if you had some more, wanted more information, you could add cards to it if it still needs a little bit more. So let's say we had, see if I can find it here. Maybe we had the question, we had the merchant, see if I can find the other one now again. Of course, it's going to be way at the bottom. Okay, why am I not finding that card? I bypassed it somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay. So at the center of it, you had the merchant, the desires, and then in political reasons, this is an abuse of power or control. This is about control, controlling. So maybe it's not enough information for you. There's some confusion. You can pull a clarifying card with it for a victory, okay? So it's about wanting a victory of controlling this, okay? My desires, okay? A victory to control it, because maybe you're thinking maybe this is somebody's controlling me. They're you know, is it that, or is it that I need to do control? Okay. The third card tells you the story. Okay, for a victory, if you want a victory, that you need to control this. Okay, you need to take more control. And in that reading, that taking more of control is to go into your spirituality. Take the lid off of things rather than covering it over and trying to push your way through. You need to be more in touch with your spirituality so you're not out in the cold with stuff. Okay? So on that note, I'll leave that here. Hopefully that's helped you some and not confused the issue.